10-1, and we haven't spoken about Simon's chum Daniel Levy, of course, at Tottenham. It was just last week Daniel Levy announced Tottenham were looking for new investment following the publishing of their latest accounts. He says to capitalise on our long-term potential, to continue to invest in the teams and undertake future capital projects, the club requires a significant increase in its equity base. And then, of course, on the field, Tottenham go out and beat Nottingham Forest, move into fourth, above Aston Villa on goal difference with a game in hand. So all of a sudden, are we talking about Tottenham and Champions League football in the same breath? Before they actually beat Nottingham Forest, Ange Postecoglou was asked if Champions League would be important financially for the club on which to build.
We're not banks, we're football clubs. Yeah, we're not financial institutions. I don't get measured by the balance sheet at the end of the year. Champions League, great. Money, great. Does that mean we're going to finish third next year? No. In fact, it's probably going to be more challenging. So my role in that is not to worry about the financial pressure of making Champions League, is to create a squad that hopefully can compete in the Champions League and keep improving in the Premier League and have success in the cup competition. So that's kind of where I differentiate. I'm not saying that, of course, if they're not going to win the league, get into the Champions League because, like you said, the financial rewards, but that's not the measure. How much money you make is not why you get into the Champions League. It's what you do with that money, and do you build on it? Do you build a squad, or you just say, well, because we're in the Champions League, next year will be great? You can do it with, you can do it without, but we've got to be better than we were last year.
Now, you're somewhat bemused by what Ange has been saying there, Simon, are you? Does it suggest to you that maybe his view of how Tottenham should progress on the field and Daniel's view in terms of investment are not exactly aligned?
No, I think he's actually saying that his ambitions are to win things and not to participate in things. And he said that at the beginning of the season. He said there's no glass ceiling. I want to get as high as I possibly can, win things. I'm looking, I don't see the Champions League. The finances and the opportunity to be better are inextricably indexed. You know, you get into the Champions League, you get another 100 million quid if you win it. You've got broadcast opportunities, you've got, you know, a whole raft of opportunities. You buy better players, you keep on going around that circle until you eventually land at the top table where you can win something.
Yeah.
So I don't think he makes as much sense as he likes to think he does, but I think his primary motivation is, I'm not interested in what's gone before. I'm interested in winning. My job is to win, and I will be judged by winning. And the financial results of the football club is someone else's responsibility.
I mean, you as a football man, Graeme, would presumably answer a question like that in the same way as Ange did. We're not banks, we're football clubs. We're not financial institutions. I don't get measured by the balance sheet at the end of the year. It's about what they do in the field of play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're knocking on the door of Champions League football. And Postecoglou is more than doing his job. And yet, back in October 2022, you were saying Tottenham are a really big football club and they're punched below their weight on Levy's watch. Well, now they might be...
Might be what?
Getting into different territory on Levy's watch.
Why are you saying that?
Because they're knocking on the door of Champions League football.
Knocking on the door.
That's the reality of it.
They've won 2 League Cups in 26 years. That's what I said, they've underperformed. 2 League Cups in 26 years. And Spurs are a big football club. A big football club. They got to the final of the Champions League, and I've said this to you before, they got to the final of the Champions League against Liverpool and Madrid. That was the time to kick on. You know, when you're ahead of the game, go again. You know, from a position of strength, and they didn't do that. Now they've got a manager that's playing a brand of football that's attractive to everyone, and he's people friendly. He's journalist friendly. Everyone's like him, and they're going in the right direction. That's all you can say about Spurs right now. They're going in the right direction.
And they are.
And then if they get into the Champions League, and Simon makes the point, it's, you know, stadium earns more money than any other worldwide. Is it? Makes more than any other stadium worldwide. So in that respect, Spurs have been a success. I don't think you'd have to be a rocket scientist to build a brand new stadium in North London for Spurs, and make it a multi-purpose stadium. I think that's all pretty predictable today with the modern stadium builds. And if you're a shareholder in Spurs, you would say that Daniel Levy's done a great job. If you're a Spurs supporter who, you know, lives and breathes Spurs, then you would say it's been a miserable time. 2 League Cups, you know, when the nearest rivals have had success, and clubs that have not been, are not on their level in financial terms, are standing in the game, have been more successful than them. So I think it's been a lean time for Spurs. But in a business sense, they've been smart.
Yeah, I mean, again, in October 2022, you said, I see a power struggle looming at Tottenham over transfers between Conte and Levy.
When was this? How far back did you go to try and dig me out on this programme?
And I know whose
What year was
judgment
this?
I
They
would
were back
back.
to 2005 for
What
me.
year was
You were
this?
saying you'd back Conte's judgment.
Well,
Conte's a proven winner.
Conte won the.
Are we not going to have the same kind of power struggle?
Conte won
Because Levy's still there.
Conte won 4 Serie A's, and Conte won the league with Chelsea. He's a serial winner. He wins leagues. But it didn't work for him there for whatever reason.
So to kick on, what do you want to see from...
Well, the only way they can kick on is get better players, and we know that costs a lot of money. You know, Spurs have a very healthy group of players right now. To improve on that, that will mean big money. Simple. It's not rocket science.
And do you doubt whether or not Levy will deliver that?
Well, history says that they won't spend the big money to... You know, when you go back to Gareth Bale's money, they got about 80 million. Everyone was patting Daniel Levy on the back for buying players before they obviously had a deal done with Real Madrid. Buying players before they actually went public. Instead, were selling Gareth Bale so he wasn't getting stuff when he went and paid a premium wherever he was buying players. But all the players, and I think the only one that got out the 5 or 6 players was Eriksen, who's now at Man United.
See, Graham's logic is absolutely right, but it's similar logic for Liverpool. But the problem is about how you spend the money. Liverpool didn't spend big money; they spent Coutinho
wisely,
money,
yeah,
and they spent it wisely. Whereas Spurs spent Bale money under AVB poorly, and so Liverpool. So this argument that Daniel Levy has not done the things he should have done will always be there. And I said to him the other day, you know, you've got a bank balance that's full and a trophy cupboard that's empty, and he will always have that until they win something. But you're now in a different generation of sport now. This is the business of sport, and the argument rages about what is sport all about anymore. It's about money. It's about finance. So when Postecoglou talked about it's not a bank or an institution, well, in an ideal world, but in the real world, you know, you're looking at the kind of ownerships models that are there, the Americans that are becoming more involved, the Middle Eastern agendas and motivations and challenges, and what's happening to football with financial fair play and the strangulation of investment now, so you can't invest anymore, so they've closed the door. So protectionism now exists, and the 6 clubs like yours that have voted everyone down to make sure that they can continue in their position of being elite, like Liverpool. Football and sport is a very unique position, but Postecoglou and Levy, he's trying to raise some more money. He wants to raise some more money.
What does that tell you?
It tells me he wants to build other things. He's seen a revenue model, and he wants to build hotels, and it tells me he wants to build other things. He wants to gentrify Tottenham.
So all the Spurs,
beyond all recognition.
All the Spurs supporters today, where does that kick in when you've built the stadium and it generates more money on match day? When do you start to say, right, we're now going to have a right go at buying?
Look at the team.
We're going to have a go at having a real team to win the big trophies.
This Tottenham side now, if you look at that Tottenham side, you look at the players they've got, and you look at their bench, they're a twist of the wheel away from being a really, really significant
not far
side.
Off it. Actually,
And I think you'll see
right.
if Daniel doesn't go,
we could do another 3 hours. And so a year ago, right now, Arsenal did what they did. They fell off the pace.
Yeah,
got to the end of the season and spent 200 odd million.
Yeah, took Kroenke a long time to wake up, though, didn't it?
So,
silent stand.
So
suddenly realises.
So you're saying Tottenham spend 200 odd million this year if they finish fourth. That puts them into contenders.
I think they'll get closer. Not winners.
Okay.
No.
As for Ange, Stephen Napton's got it all wrapped up. He's worked it out. Ange will be Liverpool boss within a year. We shall see. Graeme Souness was Liverpool boss. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. Jordan, welcome back from España. Back tomorrow at 10. We're coming up to 1.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.